Good morning and welcome to the Sunroom. This is Scott Bedgood Sunroom Storytime, episode number 18. And I'm excited to talk to you guys today about my busy week, my headlining show in Plano at Mic Drop Plano, the biggest headlining show I've done. And it went super great. Had an amazing time, had a lot of people out there, sold a bunch of tickets, but more importantly, had a really fun show. I think my set went well, all of that. So we're going to talk about that, the background. I'm going to get a little insider on just everything that took to promote the show and to prepare for the show. And then also a fun story about taking my son to the Atlanta Braves against the Texas Rangers game last week. Before I went to Plano, because something cool happened, and have gotten some really cool responses online about it, and so just wanted to share on that one too. But before we get into that, I wanted to follow up on the video I made a few weeks ago about the crazy night I had in West Georgia and all the negative comments and all of those things. To feel better about myself, I am not trying to focus on the negative comments there, but I did say, hey, people in the, people at the show did enjoy it. Just to confirm that, I actually had one of the people that filmed the show reach out to me to ask me some questions and show me something. It's this idea he had. I won't reveal any of that, but basically he was talking about how much he loved it and how they want to have me back for other things and all that. So that was good. And then he showed me this idea that he had for my website, and he was like, I think your website would look really good if you did this and this, and basically showed me how he kind of mocked it up. And then he was like, and if you want, you could just take this template and use it for your own site. Cause I was like, I'm trying to redo my website. And so, yeah. And so basically he showed me how to use Base 44, which is a website builder. And I redid my entire website. It had been very focused on my content marketing, my speaker coaching, but I'm realizing most people that are going to my website these days are going for comedy. And so I wanted to make it look more like a comedy page. I still have my other work on there, but just kind of behind the scenes, not as prominent. And I wanted the comedy piece to be prominent. I wanted to be more in kind of brighter colors, more just more comedic, not silly, but more comedic looking, and to showcase some of the new headshots and things that I took. And so, if you go to scottbedgood.com, check out my new website. Here's a screenshot of it, but really happy with the way it turned out. Obviously, there's going to be little things here and there that I need to fix. So if you see anything, please let me know. Yeah, just go on there, check it out, and very proud of it. Very excited for even more that I can do with that. But yeah, please check it out. Show's coming up. By the time you listen to this will have already happened probably. But Big Rich Brock, I'm doing a show in Ringgold, Georgia tonight or Friday night at Caffeine Addicts Coffee Shop. The one we were going to do in Cartersville, I guess because people, in the summer are out of town and stuff, and it's a smaller town, so there's not a huge amount of people that could come to that. They've moved that show to September, so I'll be doing that one in September, and then I'll be at Louisville Comedy Club next weekend. I'll be featuring for Claude Stewart August 14th and 15th at the Comedy Catch here in Chattanooga. So that's what's coming up for me in the near future, and then many things in the works for later in the fall. But for now, let's hop into story number 18 on Sunroom Storytime. Okay, I shot for the moon and I landed amongst the stars. As I said last week, you don't actually land amongst the stars if you miss the moon. You just kind of float off into space and die. But that didn't happen. It was a good time. I had been promoting this and saying I wanted to try to sell it out. And I did want to try to sell it out, obviously. And when you set a big goal like selling 300 tickets on a Tuesday night in July, if you don't achieve that goal, you still had a good time. So we did end up selling 56 tickets, and then I had done a giveaway for about 10 more tickets. So we ended up with about 70 people there. I don't know the exact final number, but it was something close to like 70 people, which on a Tuesday night in July when it's 106 degrees outside and almost everyone is on vacation felt really good. And it was an incredible night. Mic Drop did an amazing job. It was really, honestly, very cool to. I mean, I've obviously done a lot of shows. I've seen all of the different clubs and theaters and coffee shops and all of these different types of venues. But to like when I got there and I was setting up my camera, I walked into the Mic Drop and they were having their staff meeting. So the wait staff, the ticket taker, the chef or whatever, the managers, they were all there and they saw me and they were like, "It's Scott," and they all cheered and whatever. And I just that was the first time I had this like sense of responsibility for. I've been pushing the tickets so I have a good night, so I can make some money, so it looks good for me. But that was when there was something that switched in my mind and went, oh wait, this club they've got, I don't know, 10 employees that need to make money tonight, right? That it's got to be worth it for the club to open. It's got to be worth it for these people to take time out of their day to come to their job, and maybe they work other jobs, maybe on a Tuesday night when the club isn't always open on Tuesdays, I don't think so. This was all that to say, it was a big responsibility that I felt, and I was glad that I knew at that point that we had sold enough tickets for the club to have made their money and all of that. But it was just a reminder, yeah, comedy is a selfish thing. I'm on stage by myself. And people are laughing for me and cheering for me. But it supports a lot of other people, especially in a club setting like that. There's a lot of people who this is makes a big difference for them, the amount of money they can make on a night like that. And so that was, but yeah, the whole Mic Drop staff was just incredible. So thank you to them, but thank you to all the people that came out to the show. It was a really great night. Kevin Deanna, my really, really good friend, he hosted. He took some pictures. Michael Pasvar, he featured. He took some pictures. Or no, he didn't take pictures. He featured and did great. But they both killed it. And then my set went really well. I did almost exactly 45 minutes. I think it was, ended up being 43 and a half or something. I did drop one joke during my set because I was doing a runner of jokes that were really good, but they were a little bit maybe darker than the normal material that I do. And I thought, I think I should call it quits on this runner. I think we're in a good spot, and I moved on. Then later, I looked kind of back at my set and tried to think of what joke I dropped. And the funniest thing was I dropped the safest, least offensive of the jokes, but one that I know would have done well. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I should have just done it. But yeah, that joke probably would have killed. But yeah, I want to talk about my set first. Just I think there's a couple interesting pieces of it. So the main way I do a set like that is, or any longer set, is that I construct my jokes into almost kind of buckets where the transitions from one joke to another all works really well, and even the transition from a segment to another segment makes enough sense that I will not forget my jokes, because I'll know, okay, this one goes into this one, goes into this one, goes into this one. The audience member, they may not recognize that it's all kind of feels like a story, but that's my goal, is that it feels enough like a story that they're not going, wow, man, how many jokes have we heard? Even if they're funny, if you hear a lot, I think if you hear just a ton of jokes, even if they're all really funny, if it feels like the comedian's going joke 1, joke 2, joke 3, joke 4, joke 5, joke 6, then I just think it can get kind of mentally exhausting. But if it feels like one through line, you don't really even think about how long you've been listening. That's my whole theory with constructing a comedy set. And I don't know, I'm not trying to claim that's an original theory, but that's just how I think of it. But I have a lot of jokes that I've written or that I am writing that don't right now fit into one of kind of the more proven segments, sort of my opening 10 minutes. Then I have like a section that's more that's like kids stuff, kind of kids section about being a dad and all that stuff. And then I have kind of an ending. I have this story about playing football, kind of transitions into some jobs and things like that. And then it kind of transitions out. So that all works together. But then there's this middle section where I have all these jokes that I think are really good or that I want to work on or that I want to, fit in. And so they don't really go together. And I decided, actually, when I did the Billy Goat Coffee show, I was like, I think I'm just going to introduce this section by saying that and see how that goes. And I also, some of the jokes are a little bit, it's not that they're not clean in the sense of like, I'm not cursing and they're not like really inappropriate, but they're not like I wouldn't tell them at a church gig or a corporate gig. They're more kind of like comedy club type jokes or just a little bit, like I kind of like to play with some darker material and things like that. And so I kind of introduced the section by saying like, we've now come to the part of the show where I have a string of unrelated jokes and I'm not sure if I should do any of them. And so now the audience is a little bit on the edge of their seat, like, oh, what are we doing here? But at least they're also prepared, like, okay, this is not exactly going to be, the jokes about being a dad, whatever. And some of them are not dark at all, but just kind of, I like that idea of introducing it as like this is an extra, this is a little separate segment than maybe normal. And I think that has worked really well. I mean, the last two shows that I've done it, people really seem to respond to it. So after each joke, there's like cheers. There's kind of, you should or shouldn't have done it. But one of those jokes, and I don't know, I don't know if I'm going to post it here, but I think I will post it because it's somewhat relevant to right now. So I think it would do well. One of those jokes I wrote in a note in my phone in August of 2010. That was 11 or 12 years before I did comedy. I did my first open mic August 2021. But I didn't really start doing comedy, going to multiple open mics and doing shows until summer 2022. So we're at 4 years right now. I wrote that note 11 or 12 years before I did comedy. I've never gone back to that note. I've never done that joke. I've never even attempted that joke at an open mic, but I thought about it the day before the show and I thought, you know what? I think that joke is actually kind of funny. I think I could tell it. I think I could, I think it's a good idea, and the note I wrote in my phone in 2010 said Lance Armstrong, aerodynamics. You can watch the joke later or maybe I'll post it. But I wrote that joke just as those three words, Lance Armstrong, aerodynamics. And then 16 years later, 2026, I remembered the entire joke and probably made it better because I actually know how to write jokes now. But I remember the entire premise. I remember the punchline. And I didn't even go find that note. I just thought of it. And I was talking to my wife about that. And she was like, you remembered the whole joke 16 years later? And I was like, yeah, I've never even told anybody about this joke. I've never said it out loud. I just had it in my mind for that long. And I was like, and I probably don't remember several things you said to me today or things I should remember from today, but I remembered a joke that's just been in my head for 16 years. And for 11 of those 12 years, wasn't even because I was a comedian. I just had that joke in my mind. And it went well. Like it actually did really well. And it's so funny to me, like how the brain works. Why wasn't that one of the first jokes I did? Why didn't I do that at my first open mic? There's a lot of things that it is strange. I mean, if you've seen, I think it was in Nate Bargatze's most recent special where he talks about being a water meter reader. That was the last job he had before he was a comedian, was a water meter reader, and he has like a whole string of jokes about it. And I heard him say one time where he was like, why wasn't that the first joke I did? That was the most recent job that he had had before he started comedy, was being a water meter reader. And it wasn't until 20 years into his career that he came up with a joke about it. And I think that's just how comedy works. You know, this is a joke I wrote 16 years ago, and I didn't even think it was worthy of telling until 16 years later. Then I told it, and it was great. And I was like, this should have been the first joke I told, because it's good. It's funny. So yeah, go watch that. But that is the fun of getting to do 45-minute sets, is experimenting a little bit and knowing like, hey, I can experiment here and it won't ruin the whole set if it doesn't go well. And in fact, it went well. And my parents came to this show. A lot of people I knew came to the show. My parents came to the show. My dad, he told me at least twice that whole section was like his favorite part. He thought that was like really funny and fun to see, like, you know, not like, I didn't present it like these are like jokes I wrote today, but just presented it as kind of like, I don't know where these jokes go in a set. But he thought that was really funny. And I think that probably got the best response, especially because I think a lot of the people in the crowd had seen quite a bit of my set before. Either they've come to shows or they've watched my clips. They've seen, you know, maybe other performances. So there were some jokes that I was like, okay, like it's doing okay, but I could tell, you know, half this audience kind of knew where that was going because they've seen that joke before. So these were all ones that nobody's seen. So that was really, really fun. But yeah, on to, you know, maybe some insider things on like, okay, how'd you sell, you know, basically 60 tickets on a Tuesday night in July. And I say that I qualify the Tuesday night in July because the people at Mic Drop were like, dang, this is legit. This is a really good night. Like the amount of tickets here is impressive for what we just described. I mean, Sunday night they sold it out because they had a guy who's like one of the people on like a massive podcast. He's been around for a while. I think he does like theaters, but he was doing like a one-nighter or something at Mic Drop. So they're not just impressed by 56 tickets because they sold 300 2 nights before, but they're impressed by that many tickets on a Tuesday especially for someone who, I'm not on one of the biggest podcasts in the world. But what I liked about it was, yes, a lot of the people, about half the people were people I knew. So if we had 60 plus people there, about 25 to 30 were friends or family or friends of friends. But there were also quite a bit of people who were not. And that came a lot from the hard work I put into promoting the show in all of these different areas. And so going through just what I did to promote the show. So obviously I said it a bunch on the podcast. I don't know if that sold any, but it at least put the idea in people's minds who know me and who have been thinking about coming to a show. You know, you guys heard it a bunch here. I posted on social about it endlessly, right? I don't know how many people bought from there, but I know that most of the people who are my friends probably first heard about it there. I made a list of like everybody I knew in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I made a spreadsheet and I just texted so many people. And a lot of people wanted to come but are out of town, right? And that's encouraging to me that I know that the next time I come to town, there's a lot of people who would come to a show who didn't come to this one, right? And I know that some people are being sincere, like they would come if they could. Others are like, oh, you know how it goes. But the outward facing things, I ran some Facebook ads. Those are really, the conversion rate is extremely low on these. And I actually thought, I'm going to do it for this show. And if I don't sell any from these, I'll probably never do them again because I've had very little ticket sales from Meta ads, but I got like 1,400 clicks or something on my 2 Meta ads. I spent about $150 on it. And at the show, there was a guy, I think his name was Lewis. Shout out to Lewis. He was by himself. He came, he bought a shirt. He's like, hey, This was a great show. He was really excited. He took a picture with me. And I said, how'd you hear about the show? And he goes, oh, Facebook. There you go. I don't know if he meant Facebook ad or the Facebook event, or he saw a post of mine on Facebook. I have no idea, but I'm assuming he meant Facebook ad. And so I go, all right, well, at least one of the people was from Facebook. I spent $150. He bought a $20 ticket. He bought a $35 shirt. I didn't get my money back from one guy buying a ticket, but I got pretty close. And hopefully that means that at least one other person was also from Facebook. So that was encouraging. I liked that part of it. So that was encouraging. I mean, that's a hopefully one. If I got two, then it was worth it to run those ads. The conversion rate of 1,400 clicks to one or two sales is insane. I don't understand that at all. You would think if you got 1,400 people clicking, you get like 10 people that bought tickets, but I don't think that's the case. But that's just how it always is with Facebook ads. I appeared on 105.3 The Fan, which is one of the largest radio stations really in the country. One of the two big sports stations in Dallas. And they're the home of the Dallas Cowboys, they're the home of the Texas Rangers. If you're a big sports fan, you're listening to The Ticket or The Fan or both. I used to listen to both, and I used to work at The Fan. And I was on their drive time, which is the prime time in radio, the morning and the afternoon. Those are the two times you want to be on. I was at 4:40, so right before rush hour, but a lot of people are already on the road. A lot of people are listening, and I got to do a whole segment. And they chatted about me. They asked me about my career, and this was one of those things where I grew up. I mean, from, I don't know, high school through college and even into post-college, most nights of the week I watched late night TV. I watched Conan, Craig Ferguson, Letterman, Kimmel a little bit, but, mostly Conan, Craig, and Letterman. But I have always thought about, like, what would I do if I was a guest on a late night show? Because the best ones are the ones that come and don't just answer questions, but they have something, right? A lot of comedians will come and do a version of their stand-up bit, but it's in kind of a conversation. Will Ferrell always comes in like a full-on character. And so this was kind of a moment to test out some of that. We had about 15 to 20 minutes, but because I was comfortable with the format, I've worked in radio, I know these guys a little bit, I was like, I've got to come prepared. And so I prepared for it like a stand-up show, and I came up with this bit where I used to, back in the day when I was, when I wrote this book, Lessons from Legends, 12 College Football Hall of Fame Coaches on Leadership, Life, and Leaving a Legacy. I used to appear on 105.3 as a guest on Friday nights on one of their nightly shows called the KNC Masterpiece. And every week I would talk about what was coming up in the college football season. And then I would find a funny name, like a player with a funny name. And I would be like, this is our name of the week. And it's General Booty, right? Real player, by the way. And they would go, oh, that's funny. What a great name. He plays for whatever. And so for this one, I was like, I'm going to do that name thing, but I'm going to give everyone on the show, there's 4 hosts and a producer who basically functions like as one of the other hosts. And so I was going to give them 5 names and give them a note card, and they're going to reveal their name, and then I'm going to give some information about the name. And I had this one big reveal at the end that I was like, this is going to be really, really funny. And I know who to give it to, because the guy, my friend Eric Chiafalo, who's the one who was able to facilitate me, booking me on the show. I had bonded it with him when we worked together when I worked at the 105.3 for a few months. And we'll get into that when I get into we'll continue the job series later, and we'll get into my literally like 3 months working in radio. But if you have listened to the podcast, you know that I did intern at a radio station in 2010, which actually, now that I think about it, was literally like when I wrote that Lance Armstrong joke. So anyway, I I knew that I needed to do the big reveal to Eric because I knew him, I trusted him, I know his sort of instincts, I know how he takes things, and I knew he would think this was funny. And so I gave out the note cards, and it was great. I'll play that clip. I'm just going to play it. It's like a 4 or 5 minutes. I'm just going to play it here because I think it's really funny.
Ball guy.
Yeah. So I used to appear on KNC, the KNC Masterpiece when they were on at night, and I was their college football expert because I wrote a book called Lessons from Legends, where I interviewed 12 college football Hall of Fame coaches like Barry Switzer and Steve Spurrier and R.C. Slocum. So that was back in the day, and what I did every week was I had a name of the week where I'd find like a really great college football name and just kind of bring that up.
Player's name?
Player's name, yeah. So, but for this, because we're preseason, I want to give you guys each sort of a college football spirit animal, like your name for the season to keep up with. A lot of thought went into these, so I've got cards. So if you could pass this over to Gavin, he'll go first.
There we go.
Don't look at yours yet. Okay.
Don't look.
Should I look at mine yet?
Okay, hold on. All right, go.
Okay. Memorable factor?
Yes, memorable factor. Because you are, the general, you're the most memorable factor, and that is a linebacker for Duke. He's a grad student from the UK. I don't think he's going to play a lot, but he is a pretty memorable factor. So there you go.
I'm scouting him up.
Yeah. Let's
watching
see.
special teams, bro.
Lucius.
Yo. Listen what I got here. Oh, my gosh.
Please say young black goat.
Comorian Pimpington?
I think it's Pimpton.
Pimpton?
He's Pimpton.
Can you say it again clearly? I want to hear it.
Comorian Pimpton.
Okay, I gave you that one because I just wanted to hear you say Comorian Pimpton. I knew you would do it better than anybody else. He went to, he's graduated from Crowley, went to LSU, and now plays at TCU. I like that the guy named Pimpton only plays for purple teams.
Yep.
So that feels appropriate.
Yes.
Walcheck?
Pig Cage.
Yeah, Pig Cage. That's a real player.
Should I be offended by this?
That's a sniffer bag.
Pig Cage, he is a DB for Incarnate Word.
Okay, there we go.
And he played, listen to this, he's gone to Nichols, LSU, UTSA, Louisiana Tech, and now UIW.
Yeah.
I picked that one, not for the pig reason, but because your mind is like a steel trap. You know everything. You're an expert in everything, every sport. So
I appreciate
Pig
that.
Cage.
I think he just rattled his cage a little bit. Had his Rowdy Tellez moment, I feel like.
What a Jewish thing, was it?
I like that one.
Not very kosher of you, Scott.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. All right, Broadus.
All right, here we go. Rocky Beers.
Rocky Beers.
Rocky Beers.
I think we know that one, yeah. Tight end, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But also Air Force and Florida International and Colorado State. I picked Rocky Beers for you because you know what you're getting with Rocky Beers.
You are.
He's a tight end. He's from Colorado.
Yep. Yeah.
He looks exactly like you want Rocky Beers to look.
Right.
And that's what we got with Broadus, right? He's the expert. He's gonna give you the straightforward info that you need. And he's been a lot of places.
I appreciate that. With Rocky Beers, I hope at Oklahoma he doesn't beat up on my LSU guys this year.
Well,
I don't need Rocky to be successful. That's all.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear.
Not that week.
Not that week.
I'm following along with Pig Cage.
Yeah, you like Pidge. Okay, and then we've got a cheer follow. Everyone back up. We need this one clean.
I'm not reading this, dude. Hey,
You got to read it.
Can we get it clean?
Noah. It's just Noah.
Can we spell the last name for us?
It starts with a K. N. I.
Yeah.
Double G A.
Okay. And
But don't forget the K.
Right.
At the beginning.
So what would that be?
That would be. You're putting me in a bad spot right now, dude. Golly, you
So much for that clean show. He has somebody else do his dirty work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, Noah.
That's strong, dude.
I'm going to add some letters. I'm going to say ka, nay, ga, I guess.
There you go.
I add
Put
a few
in
extra
there.
letters,
Comedian Scott Bedgood. That's a mic drop moment right there. He is in Plano at the Mic Drop tomorrow. Go get you some tickets.
Yeah.
Scott, it was great to see you. To meet you.
Yeah.
Former
See you guys
fan
there.
employee. He's a comedian. He's touring, and he's in studio with us.
Damn you, Scott
Thank you so much. We got 3.
All right, and if you're just listening and you didn't fully understand, that last player's name is Noah, Knigga. I believe it's pronounced Knigga. I'm just going to assume that. Anyway, so that went exactly like I wanted. I don't know if that sold any other tickets, but it definitely increased, I think, my profile as a comedian in the city. One of my buddies that I haven't talked to in a while, that is a comedian in Dallas, he messaged me like while I was on. He was like, "Dude, I'm listening to you on the Fan right now." What? He was like, "I just got in my car and I was like, I know this voice." He's like, "What does Scott do? Like, this is incredible." Like he was like, "That bit was so funny." Like it was really cool to hear from him. It was Cody Swindell, and that was great because that showed me. Okay, yeah, like he didn't know I was going to be on, and he just heard it, right? People just listen to the radio. People listen. So I don't know who heard it. I don't know if it sold tickets, but that was another big promotion thing, right? Just to keep it like get my name out there, push the idea. Hey, I'm a touring comedian here to do the show, and that was another promotion thing. And so we've got tickets sold to family and friends. We got Facebook. We got 105.3, and then the other big one, and this was like the thing that allowed me to get this show in the first place, I think, was I opened for Dusty Slay at the Majestic in Dallas, which is a big theater there in downtown. There were about 1,800 people at the show, and at that show, I said I'm going to be performing. I'm going to be headlining at Mic Drop Plano on this date. And I told people to go buy tickets right now. I put the link in my story. That link only got like one click, but a guy did tell me he bought shirts. And you know what? I'm just now realizing, I mean, he bought shirts, he bought tickets. I'm just now I remember him now. Like I saw him at my show in Plano. He came and bought tickets. I asked him how they found out about me. They said Dusty, and now I'm remembering he did come up to me at Dusty's show and showed me that he bought tickets. So, man, I wish I remembered that guy's name. I'm not sure if I know I got it, but I wish I remembered his name. But that's awesome. He's the only person that at Dusty's show bought tickets, came up and showed me that he bought tickets. And so a lot of people said they were going to come. A lot of people said, "Hey, when is the day?" And they're like, "All right, cool, I'll see you there." I didn't know how many people would actually do it, but it turned out probably with that guy and I think his wife, and then there was another couple. I think it was probably about 6 to 8 people came to my show from seeing me at Dusty's show, and that was a pretty big gap. I mean, that was beginning of May to late July. So there's a lot of time in between, which I think ideally it would probably be, if I was going to do something like that, it would be like maybe within 6 weeks would probably be the best timeline to do something like that again. But that was still really cool. If I sold 60 tickets and 10% of them came from that, and the lesson here is that there's not just one thing that you can do. And trust me, I'm very conscious of trying to give lessons from comedy or try to teach anyone anything, because I don't know anything. I'm not trying to be Unc. I'm not trying to be, let me sit you down, youngin', let me tell you about comedy. So I don't know. I don't like the people that do that unless they're people that I actually respect. And a lot of people who do that, I don't. So I'm not doing that, but I'm saying this is the lesson I'm learning, which is just, it's hustle. You have to just do everything. Go on the radio, go on TV if you can. Jason Hedden with Panama City Comedy, he goes on local TV at 5 a.m. to promote the show. And you know what? I've met people who bought tickets because they saw him at 5 a.m. on the local TV. You got to do what you got to do. Get out there. It's not just post on social. That works. You got to do that. One thing I saw somebody say, they said you can name an Instagram live whatever you want. So you could say headlining Mic Drop Plano tonight. And then you go on Instagram live and you could put a link in your thing. And they were like, and when you go on Instagram live, it alerts everyone who's on Instagram at that time that follows you that you're going live. And so they see that when they're on. And he was like, just do that 10 times a day. Because if you do it once, the people who are online will see it, but then the other people who aren't online won't. So he's like, do that literally 10 times a day and you'll sell tickets. I tried it 3 times, not 10 times, but I tried it 3 times. One was just to work out the kinks, whatever. There was like 2 people on. Another time I did it. I told a story that I thought was kind of funny, relevant. So I posted it as a reel. I got a few likes. Just kind of reminded a few people maybe about the show. Third time I did it. Traffic is so bad in Dallas. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. and I was stuck in traffic. I was in like this construction zone. I wasn't moving. And I was like, let me just go live one time and like complain about the traffic, but also talk about the show. Well, I go live and then the traffic starts lightening up and I realize I'm in a right turn lane, but I need to be in the left lane. So I'm live on Instagram like this. I'm holding it here and I've got to get over. So I start going over and this Amazon truck behind me is really pissed that I'm merging when I'm clearly, cutting him off. So he's honking the horn. I'm still on Instagram Live. I'm like, sorry. And I cut him off and he's laying on the horn. I'm like chatting to Instagram Live, like, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on, guys. This Amazon truck's trying to kill me. And, I'm driving. He kind of pulls up like he wants to let me know that he's not happy. I'm still live. I'm still driving. It's like very intense scene, right? I can't look at my phone. And the only way to hang up an Instagram Live, at least that I know, is to hit like the small X in the top. Well, I can't do that while I'm driving. So I'm just like, I don't know who's watching. I'm talking. I'm saying stuff like, I was like, you know what? I kind of hope this Amazon truck hits me so I can sue them like Tracy Morgan with the Walmart truck, right? I'm doing good bits, but I'm also kind of terrified that I'm going to live stream a road rage incident or get in a wreck because of, my own stupidity of live streaming and also cutting someone off and all this stuff. And so finally, like I pull to where I can, I think I get to a stoplight and I go to like turn it off and I realize there's just one person, someone named Ashley, who I don't even know. One person has watched the entire thing. And I was like, I want to save this, right? I want to post this reel, but I didn't know how to do it. I was driving and I thought I hit download and I must not have, and I deleted it and it's gone forever. And so I just love the idea that there's someone named Ashley out there who watched me get in like a road rage incident with an Amazon truck by herself, like wherever she is. I don't know what she was doing. I don't know why she clicked on my live, but she had to have just been like she couldn't turn it off. Like she knew she was the only one on there. And so she was like, I can't turn this off because he's going to see that, like, I've got to watch this to its conclusion. It was the funniest thing ever. So I don't think I sold any tickets with Instagram Live. But other than that, it was an unbelievable night. It was one of those, though, that where I was like, it's onward and upward, right? This is the standard, right? This is what we do now. We headline clubs. We headline pretty big clubs, right? That's what I want to be the standard. Obviously, I'm going to be featuring, hosting. I'm going to do the things I need to do. I'll play whatever venue that someone will pay. I'm going to a Caffeine Addicts tonight to feature for Big Rich Brock. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm pumped about it. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's like, okay, that's where I want to be. That's where I am. And that's where I want to continue to be. And I'm excited about that. I wanted to talk about real quick a story from this past weekend before I went to Plano, where I took my son down to watch the Braves play the Rangers in Atlanta. And obviously we're big Rangers fans, being from Texas. And he's a huge fan of a player named Evan Carter. Same name, Carter and Evan Carter. And he's been a fan since, I guess, Mike Carter was 3 and the Rangers won the World Series, and this 19-year-old rookie named Evan Carter was a big part of that. And so he thought it was so cool there was a player with his name on the team. And so we followed Evan Carter's career ever since. Evan Carter's had a lot of ups and downs. He's missed like an entire year from injury. He missed a lot of time with injury. And he's kind of struggling to like establish himself as a hitter, but he's a great fielder. And so he's not like the most popular player on the Rangers, but Carter loves him. And so I got tickets. We went down to the game. It was a 4:00 game on a Saturday. And we made a sign, and we were in the outfield, and we were holding up the sign and said, go Rangers, Evan Carter. And we were really trying to get Evan's attention. And he never noticed it. In between each inning, when the players warm up, they then throw the ball in the stands. And eventually some Rangers fans that we saw around us, they noticed, and they were trying to get Evan's attention with us. They were like, Evan, and he never looked. And then in, I think, the 6th inning, Evan Carter hits a game-tying home run. And so Carter is, like, going crazy. And other fans in the stands, they're looking at us, and they're, like, cheering with us. And so then Braves fans started kind of joining in, trying to get Evan Carter's attention so that Carter could get a ball. And in fact, I saw a lot of them, even like the teenagers and the older kids, they were like telling each other, like, hey, if a ball comes to you, give it to this kid. Like, if Evan Carter throws you the ball, give it to this kid. And finally, in the we moved a section over to get closer to Evan Carter. And in the 8th inning, he finally saw the sign and he smiled and he like pointed at us. He was like, "Oh, thank you. That's cool." So then in the 9th inning, when it was time for him to throw the ball over, he kind of threw it towards us. I'm not sure if he was throwing it to us or not, but it didn't come to us. It went, it like bounced around and hit an old guy in the face, and the guy got the ball and he was like, "Yeah." And then his adult son came over and was like, "Hey, you should give the ball to that kid." And he was like, "Oh, you're right." And he gave it to Carter, and he had this huge smile on his face, the guy giving the ball to Carter, and Carter was so excited. And then everyone around was like high-fiving Carter and fist bumping him, and it was really amazing. And the Rangers ended up winning that game by a run. So it was a very intense game. These are both first-place teams. But the Braves fans, even after the game, were like fist bumping Carter as he walked up the aisle. They were like really happy for him. He had become like a little minor celebrity in the stands because they just knew like this meant everything to him, and it was a really special thing. And so I wanted to include that story. I posted that story on Instagram and Facebook, and it's gone pretty crazy. It's got like 500 or 600 likes and tons of comments from Rangers fans. And in fact, a few like commented or messaged me, and they were like, "Hey, I'm like a collector, and I want to send you some cards, like some signed Evan Carter cards." So I've got those coming in the mail, which is really cool. And so I wanted to shout out to those people. When I get them, I'll say your name on the podcast next week if you want. But yeah, a really cool thing that people did for us, and that Evan Carter did, and the Rangers and the Braves, all that. It was just such a fun experience. So yeah, that is Sunroom Storytime, story number 18. All right, Wiki Wondering today. We're going to keep it kind of short. There was a gigantic beetle flipped over outside my house the other day, and I was like looking at it, and I sent a picture to my friend Carly, who's a big bug person. She has an Instagram account called Insta Entomology, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a female Eastern Hercules beetle." She's like, "Those are my favorite bugs." She was like, "They don't harm anything," and it was really cool. I'll put a picture here. She's like, "You should see the males. They've got this giant horn, as you can see in this picture." So I was just reading about those on Wikipedia. They grow up to over an inch wide. The females, the males get over 2.5 inches. These are gigantic bugs, and they've got this big horn. They have these cool colors. They are harmless, and I think they are actually kind of good to have around. Maybe they eat other bugs, but people keep them as pets. That's how exciting these things are. Let's see. Oh, they like to eat the sap of trees. So this one that was flipped over, I flipped it back over onto its feet, and then it flipped right back over on its back. And Carly told me, she said, it's wanting to get on a tree to eat sap. So I picked it up with a stick, put it on a tree, and it started eating sap, and it really seemed to enjoy that. They undergo metamorphosis like a butterfly or whatever. So they go egg, larval, pupa, and then adult stages. Pretty cool. Not really a lot of excitement on today's Wiki Wondering, but they can't all be great, because this is literally just what I was reading on Wikipedia this week, and I didn't have anything else. And we're learning about the Eastern Hercules beetle, and they're pretty cool. And if you like bugs, shout out to you. You probably know way more about them than I do. But yeah, I've got some shows coming up. Like I said, going to Ringgold, Georgia, Friday night. July 24th, so probably has already happened by the time you heard this. And then Louisville Comedy Club. If you're in Louisville, we'd love to see you there. And opening for Crystalia. And then got a show here in Chattanooga in August with Claude Stewart opening, featuring that weekend for him. But yeah, a lot of different things in the works. So thanks for joining me on Sunroom Storytime.